Did you hear me make a motion to appoint Todd Bowbridge?
I did.
Okay.
I second it.
Oh, okay. So, without any questions, unless you have some,
Nope.
I would say we vote to appoint Todd effective immediately.
Over it.
Phillipston, aye.
Van Dryer, aye.
Okay. Trying to get his,
Well, his microphone seems to be working. Can, I don't know, get closer to it or something?
well, I'm trying to get his view to show on screen too. It was showing before and now it's not, so.
Oh. Well, unless he wants to be shown, I don't know if we have to.
Okay. Well,
I mean, we can't see Tom's back. It's breaking my heart. But
okay. All right. Moving on then. We have 4 volunteers for the committee to consider education options. We actually have 5 now. Tom Specht, Linda Ellis, Angelo Garofalo, Melissa Carello, and give me a second. Another one came in. Kate Bristow. I don't know some of these people, but I know Angelo Garofalo was the principal at the Baldwinville Elementary School, and he's previously offered to work with us on the school project. So
that sounds good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, Gare, did you want to be on that?
Did you want me to be on?
Sorry, what did he say? I didn't hear him.
Did you want him to be on it?
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. I just thought that was something he was interested in.
Yeah, I can.
Maybe not.
I'll be on it if you think.
He says he'll do it if you think.
Well, that would give us an even number. How about Dan Sandon? Was he going to do it since he wanted it formed? And that would give us an odd number.
Okay.
So add Gare and Dan.
Mr. Chairman, I see Crystal McAllister is here, and she's one of the people who's been pretty outspoken in support of the school as well. So I don't know if she would be interested in being on the committee too. She wrote quite a few letters and quite a bit on Facebook and other things. You might want to speak with her.
Well, does she want to speak?
I don't know. Crystal, do you want to speak? I can unmute you or put your hand up or give us.
Yeah, so yes, I'm here. I'm listening. What will be involved in the committee? I mean, do you have plans of how often you would meet? Obviously, it's a board of opinions of the best way to proceed with the school.
And in this, I believe the main focus is for using it for educational purposes.
Right,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah.
Right,
this is not like what to do with the building.
right.
It's to explore educational opportunities.
Yeah. Dan Sandon proposed this at the town meeting, and his intent was to explore other options for educating Phillipston students. So it might be looking at withdrawing completely from the school district, or only partially withdrawing and joining with another district, or running an elementary school entirely on our own, or joining partly with someone else, and so on. Could be lots of different things. So
I could definitely be interested. I just, like I said, I don't know what the extent of the meetings. I mean, I'm assuming because of the situation, we'll probably be doing it like you're doing it right now via Zoom. Yeah. You know, how often is it? Once a week, once, you know, a couple times a month? I mean, Just trying to get a gauge of schedule of how much to commit, how much time I'd have to commit to doing it.
Right. Well, I don't think they would meet more than a couple of times a month. They would, I can't imagine it would be more than that. Might at the start, but that's something the committee would decide in itself. But if we had, say, 5 or 7 people on a committee, somebody could, if they couldn't make it, then the committee could still meet. That person would be updated by the minutes and the other members. So, I mean, you wouldn't have to make every single meeting if they were meeting too often, but I don't think they're going to do too often.
Okay, I mean, I think I would be interested because I do have I think a somewhat of opinion on, what we should do with this. I mean, I definitely think we should have a school. We have the building. We have a town that has people who want their students in their own school building. So I do have an opinion on that. So I do think I could bring something to the committee. So I would be interested in that.
That sounds good. So, Gary, you want to make a motion to appoint these people, or do you want me to?
Well, because I volunteered for it, why don't you make the initial and I'll second it.
Did you get that, Kevin?
Yes.
What did he say? I can't hear him.
Okay. So you are appointing Tom Specht, Linda Ellis, Angelo Garofalo, Melissa Carello, Kate Bristow, Gerhard Van Dryer, Crystal McAllister, and
Okay.
Dan Sandin as well.
I think we should, and if he doesn't really want to, I don't think we should force him. How many does that give us without Dan?
8.
Yeah, I would second those individuals
Wait a minute. You
on the
have,
committee, and I would urge them to start sooner, not later.
5, 6. You have 7 without Dan. Excuse me.
So that would probably work.
3.
And if Dan wanted to, that's fine. So
Okay.
join, it's fine. Or he could oversee or whatever. But,
Okay.
so any other questions? I would take a vote. Phillipston, aye.
Van Dryer, aye.
Okay, so that's our committee. And, like I said, I would hope they get started soon.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I will put together a notice to, for Karen, and you will need to all appear before Karen and get sworn. She'll give you a little plastic card to go with that. And I see a couple of folks just joined us, so give me a second, please, because I need to mark their names down.
Sure.
Donald. You and Richard. Okay, thank you.
Sort of on the same, sort of on that line of that committee, and I guess this is directed to Gare. Have we heard anything yet as far as the response to the superintendent?
No, I've called there multiple times and he has not returned a call. So I'm gonna call again tomorrow, find out.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Also under positions, we received several applications for the assessor's data collector position, which I passed on to them. And I understand that they've made their selection. So Sue is working with that person on filling out their paperwork, Sue and Lynn.
Sounds good.
The town accountant position, I have 3 applications and 2 for the town treasurer. I'd like to interview, since it's a small number, I'm going to forego suggesting preliminary application reviews and just go straight to final reviews. So I'd like to schedule time with the board to do the application reviews with these people. I suggest that we do this separate from a regular meeting. A preliminary application review ordinarily would be done in a closed session, an executive session, and then there would be a final interview in an open session. If we go straight to the final interview, because you've only got 3 applicants in one and 2 in the other, it's an open session. To do that, I suggest that we just have schedule a regular meeting, one meeting just where we do the interviews for these people. And then the board can make their decision that night or a subsequent evening. So
You're saying these would be in open?
yes, if the board is hiring these people, you need to interview them in an open session.
Okay,
So
we'll have to find a time.
we need to pick a time, a night that's, another night than a Wednesday night, so that you preserve your Wednesday nights for regular meeting tasks. And then you'll have a separate night for doing the interviews. Usually an interview like this is probably 30 minutes with a little break in between each one.
Sure, I can do any evening, except the first Thursday of the month.
Okay,
I have a prior commitment.
not the first Thursday.
Yeah. Other than that, any night work.
Okay, and then you also have planning board, John, on the Mondays, first and third?
Oh, I didn't resign from that yet?
I see Bernie over here, so
I apologize. I forgot about the planning board night. So typically that's the first and third Mondays. I
okay,
mean, we have one coming up, but that's partly because of Martin Luther King and other
Right.
reasons.
right. Gerhard, is there particular nights that you can't meet?
No, I just need some advance notice.
Okay. So we could conceivably do it, say, like next Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, or even next Thursday night?
I think Tuesday would be better.
Tuesday would be better? Okay. I will get in touch with these people. That would give them enough time to know next Tuesday. And, how early in the evening can we start, gentlemen?
You're talking about Tuesday the 26th?
A week from yesterday, yes. How early in the evening can we start?
Anytime's fine with me.
Gerhard, you said 6:30?
6.
6, okay, good. All right, I'll let them know, and we'll get them scheduled for next week. Sooner the better. Excellent.
It looks like, I don't know, Tom Speck's had his hand up for a bit. Guessing it's on this subject?
And Rick has his hand up too, so where
Right.
do we go?
But his hand must be tired. It's been up.
Okay, Tom Speck, please unmute.
Can you hear me? I know you can't see me for whatever reason. I've got a couple questions on that. When did the selectmen accept the treasurer's resignation? I don't remember seeing it in any of the agendas. That's the first question. The second question is, we have applicants, but I haven't seen it posted in the Greenfield Recorder, the Athol Daily News, the Gardner News, or the Worcester Telegram. And then hearing a rumor, I went on the town's website, and after clicking so many times, I had to put my index finger into a split, and I finally found the ad. And I question, if I remember, and maybe some of the FinCom members can also back me up, that job is an hourly job and was set up that way. So I have 3 questions, and I'd like to know what's going on.
Well, what are your 3 questions?
Number 1, the selectmen haven't accepted her resignation. that I have seen in any of the agendas. In fact, I looked back through in the middle of December on all my agendas, and unless the selectmen did it in an executive session, then maybe that's a different story. That's number one.
All right.
There's 2 applicants already, as Kevin indicated. How'd they know about the job? I didn't see it advertised, and I went back 2-3 weeks in either the Gardner News, the Greenfield Recorder, the Athol Daily, or the Worcester Telegram. And so then I heard a rumor that it was posted on the town's website. So I was clicking and clicking and clicking and finally clicked, and I found the ad. And my other question is, I thought that job was an hourly job, paid by the hour. And it shows as I'd assume the way it looks, like a hourly job. So yeah, I got a few questions about it, and I'm quite sure there's other people maybe that might be having the same questions, or maybe it's just me and rather high taxpayer who's concerned about what's going on.
Which job are we talking about, Tom? The accountant or the treasurer?
Treasurer.
Okay. The treasurer's job was posted in the Mass Treasurer Collectors Association. It was posted on the MMA website. It's posted outside the front door. It's posted in the Athol Daily News, and it was posted on the town website under employment, where we post the employment positions.
I never saw it in the Athol Daily News, and if I have to prove it, I will.
Okay. But it was posted in all those spots. It is a salaried position. It's been a salaried position for the last few years. The accountant's position as well. It's a professional job. It's not a wage job. So Rick has his hand up too.
Sure, let's hear from Rick.
Oh, and now he bounced to here. Hi, Rick.
Hi, my question was the first one that Tom Speck, when did she resign? Because I didn't know anything about that. And normally that is discussed during selectmen's meetings, that they accepted the resignation of a position. And is there going to be any disruptions in pays and paychecks and stuff like that? When is her last day? What are we looking at here as managers of the different departments to be concerned about?
I think I can answer that. I think she said she would not leave us in the lurch so that people could get paid. And I don't know if we have a formal resignation. She has another job and she notified us, but she's still helping out so that we're not in a bind.
But wouldn't you need some sort of formal resignation to actually
Yeah, we will.
have the job posted?
See, Lynn's hand is up, so I guess we'll let her answer some of this.
Sure.
Lynn, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, yes, I did send in a formal.
Yep.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're set.
Okay. I'm in a really bad spot right now. I'm driving. Sorry.
Okay.
I may drop out, but I'll come back in.
Go ahead.
I think what she said was she did submit one. I think we lost her, but that answers that question. She did send one.
Okay.
And go ahead, Lynn.
Okay. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I did send in my resignation. I turned in a resignation letter 2 weeks ago on Wednesday night, or Wednesday during the day. And yes, I'm not intending to just leave the town high and dry and on their own. Tonight was actually supposed to be my formal last day, but like I'll be in tomorrow because I've got some commitments I've got to do. I will be running the next payroll. And, you know, anything that needs to be done until somebody else can fulfill the spot.
Okay, thank you. If people feel strong enough, I would make a motion that we accept her resignation and explanation. But accept it with regret, personally.
Second.
I don't know, Kevin, can you do that if that's not
Yeah,
on the
Garrett,
agenda?
I'm sorry, John. Yeah, that's fine. Gerhard moved to second, accept
Oh,
it.
okay.
So,
So all in favor of accepting it, say aye. Jack, aye.
Dan Dryer, aye.
Gerhard says aye. Okay.
I hope I can't. Oh, Linda Ellis.
Okay, Linda, if you'd unmute, please.
Why would anyone want to come to this call?
All right. So did you guys even get to see a resignation? She said she sent it.
Yeah, we have a copy in the office.
I know, I remember something, but I just don't remember exactly when but Tom's right. I don't believe we voted. That's why I just did that with Gare.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
And
also, where was the her posting when we posted her job? Do you guys have a copy of that? Because I'd like to see the copy of the previous accountant and Lynn's job description when
Yeah,
we posted that.
The treasurer was posted in the Mass Collector Treasurers Association. It was posted on the MMA. It was posted on the building. It was posted on the website. And I think it was posted in the Athol Daily News as well.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. I don't mean that. I mean, when Lynn originally got hired,
Yeah.
I would like to see what her job description was when she applied.
Oh,
And the
okay.
accountants.
I'll have to
And-
go back. That predates me.
I know.
I'll have to go
Yeah.
back.
What that
And
got to do
That's
with
what I thought. Pretty sure it was hourly, but like Tom was mentioning. But that would be nice if we could look at that to see the history. Thank
Okay.
you, Kevin. Thank you, John.
certainly. Lynn. Kevin, you want to let Lynn in?
yeah, I'm just making a note.
Yeah.
Okay, Lynn, go ahead.
Just for some clarification, I was hired as salary for the treasurer position, and the prior treasurer was also salary. It's always been a salaried position, you know, for at least the last, you know, what, 5-6 years. That much I can attest for.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, in your packets last meeting and again tonight was copy of the bid results from the bid for water sampling, operation and maintenance at the elementary school. We received 2 bid results. There were 12 packets distributed to various firms. 2 bid results, one from McClure Engineering and one from Whitewater. We asked for a base price for each year for a 3-year base contract. And then we asked for 2 additional years at our option that the town could exercise if it chose. So it would be for 2021, 2022, 2023 as a 3-year contract. And then the town could exercise an additional year for 2024, and then an additional year on top of that for 2025. But it's solely at the town's option whether or not to choose those. And the low bidder on the base prices was Whitewater. We also asked them to tell us what their rates would be for non-routine services. In other words, if we called them out to do repairs or maintenance or some emergency work had to be done, or even routine work that had to be done, not routine work, additional work needed to be done for their service personnel and for their management personnel. In that case, Whitewater was the more costly. but we're basing the bid on the routine water sampling and operation and maintenance, not the emergency work. So Whitewater had the lower bid for 3 years at $12,981.78. McClure Engineering for 3 years was $27,680.
Okay, now, if I could put in here, I did some research going back, and the town of Phillipston has been paying Whitewater for at least the last 3 years, as I found in the open checkbook. So I'm not quite sure what Cassavant was talking about when he said that we had to hire somebody, because we, as the town, have been paying Whitewater for monthly testing already.
Okay, Gary is saying that
Yeah, I heard him.
we would
I
have to
mean,
pay somebody for testing where we've already been paying them.
right. Well,
This is the state telling us that we have to have somebody
we're gonna, before long,
public
because
water supply.
at some point, they're gonna just say, hey, we haven't heard from you. We're not gonna contribute anymore. So we're gonna end up, if we're already paying this, we might as well accept their bid and keep it going. And then we can answer the DEP or whoever sent us that letter, and we can say we have this company doing our testing, and that should resolve any problems. So I would entertain a motion to award the contract to Whitewater.
Second.
Okay,
I didn't hear that.
got his hand up, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Tom, would you unmute, please?
Yeah, is Whitewater the company that we were dealing with in the past?
Yes, that's why I asked Ruth a couple of months ago. And I don't know. It didn't sound.
So I have a couple other questions, seeing as we're bringing up the school. I was part of the, or at least I was asked to comment on a document between Phillipston and the school board in reference to who was going to do what and for how long. So my question and concern is, what's going on with the oil? What's going on with the alarm system? What's going on with internet access? And who's paying the electric bill? And I do have concerns. Every time I drive by that building, I'm wondering, like, holy moly, who's looking after it? Who's paying for what? And what is the school shut down that, it's not a good situation as far as I'm concerned right now. What's the status?
I think you should ask Gare that. I don't have an answer.
Okay, well.
I can't hear Gare.
Gary, why don't you come over here? Here.
And I don't know about anybody else, but I would assume nobody else can hear Gare.
I can hear myself.
Come sit here.
All right, can you see me now?
Not see, it's here.
No one,
Okay.
nobody was asking about seeing you.
Okay, for some reason, the lawyer that we supposedly paid has not gotten back to me in any way, shape, or form. However, the letter that Cassavant wrote indicated the end of February as the time when the town will take over all these bills. So that's why we decided to move on the Whitewater. But then I figured out that we have been paying Whitewater for the last 3 years for the PMES building. So I'm not quite sure what Cassavant was talking about. Because we have.
It wasn't Cassavant, it was the department. Somebody had contacted Department of the DEP or whatever, somebody, so that that prompted that letter, which.
Well, it was probably on the school committee. But if we go back, you check the open checkbook and you'll see every month that we've been paying.
I'm not surprised. I thought we've been paying, I thought we were engaged with Whitewater for as long as I can remember.
Right.
So my questions, if you didn't hear me, Gare, was what's going on with the heat? what's going on with the cable, what's going on with the alarm system, and electricity, who's paying the bill? Because as I said, I was part of, or I was asked to comment on the document that was presented by the superintendent to be rush, 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 rush. If you people who are listening in remember, so what's going on? Is that sitting over there without any heat? Did they drain the pipes? No electricity? No fire alarm and burglar alarm systems on that right now? As a citizen, I'm concerned. Like I said, every time I drive by there, I look at the building and I go, wow. And I haven't heard anything about it since, I don't know, when was the last time it was on the selectmen's agenda? Month and a half, maybe 2 months ago?
If you listen to me, Tom, I just
Yes,
told you that the letter from Cassavant says the time to change over will be the end of February. So that's when the town is going to take everything over. Until then, the school is paying for it.
So with a week and a half left, has the
This is
town,
January, not February.
the end of February?
Yes. You still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still there. I see other hands up. I figured I'd like to maybe comment when they talk.
Ruth French says
I think Ruth was up before, after me.
Sure, maybe she knows more about it. Let's hear Ruth. Yeah.
Okay, Ruth.
Okay, hi. Yeah, as far as the letter we received from DEP, that was just stating that we were no longer a public water supply because they were notified by the school department that we were no longer a public water supply because we didn't have a school. And DEP said if we wanted to continue being a public water supply, we had to do a couple of upgrades that hadn't been done yet. It didn't say we had to stop testing with whitewater. All right, we've been testing with whitewater, as Gare said, for quite a while. In fiscal year 2020, we paid whitewater $5,500 for the year for testing. Actually, it was just under $5,500 because they don't have to test every faucet every time they go in. It's kind of like they have to test this one, they have to test that one every month. One of them's every few months. I mean, I get the water supply, I get the water tests at the Board of Health. So I'm not sure what we're asking them to bid on, because I would think it would be the same as they've been testing right along for years and years. So the only thing, I never said go out to bid or get, I assumed we were still going to have whitewater test. My comment was we needed to get whichever repairs needed to be fixed according to DEP, of which the DEP list, some of them should have already been done by the school system. And there were like a couple others that hadn't been done yet. And I said, actually, I think I said, call Isaac Gallant to see, because there was just a couple of well repairs we needed to do or a couple of water system things. So not to have white, I was shocked when I found out I went out to bid, because I thought I had conveyed keep whitewater testing and do the repairs that DEP requested.
So there's requests for repairs on that letter? I don't remember seeing those.
John, the Miss Connors, I think her name is Susan Connors, from DEP, directed us to engage a firm to do the testing at the building if we wanted to restore our public water supply classification. And that's why we went out to bid on it. So that's the answer to that. Let me get Tim Haley unmuted here for a second. I see his hand is up. Okay, Tim?
Okay, I was just going to comment that all the Tom's questions are really, really good questions as to when and what and how and everything like that. But I think we're just talking about the water supply right now. But yes, the selectmen really have to be checking on to when the turnover is and what else is being done, what hasn't been done. But we should just kind of stay tracked to the menu agenda item of getting this water supply taken care of. And then you guys can take care of the turnover eventually too. That was just my comment.
Thank you.
But I thought we did deal with the testing.
Okay.
And the other thing, I believe Gare wanted us to wait till we heard from these people he's engaged to before we said anything more to Casavan. Does that answer your question, Tom? Let's hear Tom.
Well, I'm still unmuted, so why don't I just go ahead? If I recollect that letter, and that was another concern that I voiced that had to be looked into by you guys, was that letter was dated from the DEP with concerns about certain things that had to be fixed. And it was, if I believe right, it was like 2017. The school was still being used by the school. And so consequently, it should have been their responsibility. And evidently, they never did it. And my feelings are, if it was requested for these updates and repairs when the school was still using the building, they should be held financially responsible for those repairs. And Ruth is right. There are repairs and updates that were talked about. I don't know which document she's referring to, but the one that I saw was 2017, and I raised that question then. That's all, just trying to protect the town so that we don't end up paying for something we don't have to. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, anything that's going on with that school, we're waiting to hear. I guess all of that would be taken care of. I'm assuming. I don't know. I haven't talked to them. I don't even know who it is.
I'm gonna call tomorrow and find out what's going on with that.
Mr. Chairman, you have a motion on the floor to award the bid for water sampling operation and maintenance to Whitewater.
So I thought we had motioned and seconded it. Did we?
We did.
Now we just need to vote.
We're gonna vote on it.
Phillipston, aye.
Fan dryer, aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I see Linda Ellis's hand is up, but I mean, let's hear it.
Okay, Lynn.
Okay. I was just wondering, what is the check number, Lynn, of the payment to that lawyer? Because if they're not answering, maybe they never received the check. There's a lot of mail problems right now. Maybe we could find out if the check's outstanding.
I can ask the accountant, or Lynn is Lynn still on the line? Excuse me.
She's driving. She won't be able to tell you that.
I don't know. Gareth says he's been talking and they haven't gotten back to him. Oh, yeah, I guess it could be if they never got the check.
Well, I'm just saying, here's Lynn, excuse me. Lynn, do you know if that check out to them?
The check is out. It's been out for a while now. I can certainly look into it when I go in the office tomorrow. I'll look and see if it is cleared.
Okay.
And I can get back to you and let you know.
Okay. Thank you. Tim.
Yeah, I just have a question or a comment or something like that. I think Ruth just said that you paid Whitewater $5,500-ish or something like that last year to test the water, and now we're going to be paying them $24,000.
No, 4,200.
What's that?
4,200 for 1 year.
Okay, I thought, okay, my dyslexia kicked in and turned it into 24,000. Sorry. So it's only 4,200 for the year. So we got a
For
good
the
deal.
year, for the first year, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good Lord. I'm having a fight with the cat. Wanted to lay on my papers.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the items for the meeting portion of this evening. The next part we have is the workshop. Just,
Well, I would like to close the selectmen's meeting. So I would entertain a motion to close the selectmen's meeting so we could go into the workshop.
Second.
There's no reason to keep them together.
okay,
Gary, you want a
Gerhard
motion? You want
seconded.
me to-
Gerhard seconded.
So Phillipston, aye.
Van Dryer, aye.
Van Dryer, aye.
All
Okay.
right, so this concludes the part we couldn't get to because of technical difficulties last week. So Kevin, I believe you usually run the workshops, right?
Well, I just wanted to speak with the board about a couple things. First of all, I'm sorry we got cut off last week, which was something going on with the internet and that. I know Comcast was in because they've been changing the lines for us to get rid of the old phone lines and connect some new wiring. And we've had a couple of times that there's been glitches here where things have been shutting off and we've had to restart the internet. So it appears that the work is not done. I know Lynn has been in touch with them to get them to come back and fix some of these things. So I don't think whatever they've done is quite complete yet. So I expect it may shut off a couple more times in the future, but you know, knock on wood tonight, seems like we're good. So far, so good. But one thing that happened is as a result of last week, I think that Chairman Speck of the Finance Committee said that, I think it was last week, that, and I can't remember if I was in the meeting at that point or out, when Tom said that he was going to extend, the committee was going to extend the deadline for receiving budgets from February 1st to February 25th. Thank you, Tom, for doing that. I think that's a great idea because that gives more time for everybody to get prepared, especially since we have, at this point, still just a part-time accountant who's trying to get get all the different accounts closed and so on. And it'll take a little time for her to get all the final reports done for the months. I've asked her to make that a priority, but she's still got quite a bit to catch up on. Not being familiar with our accounts the way Kelly was from having done them for a number of years. Every town is a little different and they don't always know, you know, the way things are kept in the different towns. So really appreciate changing the date on that. I had originally thought that I was going to rush through and then have a workshop on Zoom for departments to talk about their budgets, and I would have it recorded, and then hopefully before Andrew goes back to college in a couple of weeks, have him show me how to put it on YouTube. Apparently there's a way to do that, but I'm not familiar with it. So that department heads could go back and look at it to say, oh, okay, this is what we talked about in case anybody had any questions. But this means that we'll have more time to do that and I don't have to rush to do it. Originally I was going to do it next week. Now we have more time. So that means Gail has time to get her reports complete and we have more time to get things into the forums. Last year, when we put out the forums for people, it was a one-page form. The prior years, we had used multi-page forms for some of the big departments. Last year, we cut it back. And this year is the same thing. It's basically the same form as we used last year. I think, Mr. Chairman, you and Gerhard have copies of it. It just has two parts. At the top is about wages. salaries or wages for employees. And then it gives us a couple of columns. One that we will enter for people, and that's what I'm waiting for Gail to give us some final numbers on. That'll show what people actually spent in wages in FY20, in FY21 through the end of December, so 6 months. And that's why I'm waiting, because she's got to get those 6 months numbers completed for us. And then a place for them to enter their request. And then a space for people to enter their expenses. And in the past, we've asked people to break it down according to an accounting system. I'm doing away with that. I think it makes it confusing for people. We were originally heading in a direction that we were going to allow people to get into the accounting system so they could make their entries directly. I don't think we're at a place where we're ready to do that. So we're getting rid of those separate account numbers. People may remember where it used to say things like purchase of services and intergovernmental and support for employees and so on. That's gone. It just says list your expenses. And if you have an expense, a miscellaneous item that's more than 5%, you've got to list it separately. Anything over 5% that's miscellaneous, break it out. What is it? If something comes up on your budget and it says miscellaneous expenses 25%, really? Tell us what that is. Don't put down 25% of your budget, unless it's a very small budget. If your budget is $100 and you say $25 is miscellaneous, don't worry about it. If your budget is $100,000 and you say $25,000 is miscellaneous, we want to know what that $25,000 is. But we're getting rid of those separations. I think everybody will go, shoo, because as I said, that was at a time where we were hoping that we were going to let people have direct access to the system so they could get their own reports and enter their own things. I don't see that happening anytime soon. So we've eliminated that. It'll have the same thing as above. It'll have the 3 columns. In fact, I think I can show it to you if you give me a second. This I think I remember how to do. Share screen. Share screen. I just got to remember where to find it. Excel.
It'd be under shared documents. Share screen.
Yeah, shared screen. Come on, open up. There you go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
You can see that screen? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the budget form. People can see this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I can. I don't know if anybody else can.
If you can see it, everybody else can see it then. This is the same as last year. The yellow is just to draw your attention to it. But your department number we'll put in, and the department name. They'll put their, the department head's name and the date. We're going to ask them to check off whether it's the original or a revision, because sometimes we get a lot of paperwork coming through, and sometimes, you're looking at it and you're saying, is this the first one, or have they changed something? If they're just going to level fund from the prior year, they're just going to say, check there and you're done. You don't have to enter anything down here. The wages is the same as we've asked for. It'll show, we will put in a number of what you actually spent for FY20. You don't have to bother filling in then. What you actually spent in FY20 and 21, and then you can break it out here, what you want for 22. This is where we used to break this out into multiple, and I think it was 4 or 5 categories. We're getting rid of that. That's where we had thought to let people have access to Vader, and they would be able to pull their own reports and so on. I think that's too complicated. So we've eliminated that. This goes back to the good old days where you just list what you want, how much, so much for office supplies, so much for fuel, so much for sand and gravel, so much for uniforms, so much for dues and subscriptions, so much for, dry cleaning, whatever. And then this is, again, what you actually spent in FY20. If you want to list it, that's fine. Otherwise, we're just going to tell you what the total was down here. We're going to tell you. You don't have to look. We're going to tell you what you spent in 6 months down in this column, and then this yellowed column, just to make it easier so you know which column is yours to fill in. Here and here is what you want in FY22. It's going to total it for you. So if you do it in, it's an Excel spreadsheet. If you do it in Excel, it'll do the totals. If you're more comfortable doing it in pencil, the old fashioned way, and I do everything in pencil to start. So, because I like it too, fine. Do it in pencil and leave it that way, and do your, take a calculator and do the math and enter it yourself. That's fine. Nothing bad about that. So that's one thing. So we're going back, and it's a 1 page. If you want to write on the back, go ahead, to do some calculations. It's a 1 page request. The second part of that is, let me go back to stop sharing. There we go. The other thing that's different this year is what I'm calling a budget narrative form. There are some common things that we ask everybody year after year. So I've created a form, a 1-pager, that says, tell us 4 questions, tell us some things about your budget. The first question, and let me pull that up so you can see it too. Go ahead. Share screen. Okay. Let's go back to there. Zoom meeting. There we go. Narrative form, 1 page. You can type into this page and the boxes will expand. It's 1 page. The department, who submitted it, is this the original or the revision? In case you change your mind. Please describe the rationale for any substantial changes in your budget line item submission. Any changes from last year? This should say, did you receive any special article funding from prior years? So, if your department got special article funding for, let's say, who's not here tonight? Chief Dodge isn't here. He got a special article to put siding on the building and put in new windows. Tell us what's the status of those expenditures. Job's done. Job's done. We put all the new windows in, new siding, everything is great. We noticed the building is nice and warm. Thank you. That's all we want to know. We had a special article for putting new roof on the town hall. Completed the job. It's beautiful. We get lots of compliments. Thank you. That's what we want to know. So that question's done. It just brings us up to date, the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen, so we know what you've done with that special article. You're just informing us about the status of the money that was entrusted to you with that special article, not part of your regular budget. And this year, and I think I've got 1 date off on one of these somewhere, but I'll correct it. 21 should be a 20, or 21 should be 22. This year, in 21, has your department experienced any notable successes, such as improving or providing new programs or services or implementing new technologies? If so, please describe. This is the toot your horn box. Tell us all about what a great job you're doing, or how you've done something in spite of terrible odds, or in spite of the COVID, or how hard you're working. This is the boast box. Tell us what a great job you're doing. Something special that you've done. And then in the last one, 4, are there challenges to your department's abilities to meet its goals or objectives due to its operating budget? If so, besides asking for more money, of course, we all want more money. We know that. But besides that, offer your recommendations for improving the situation. Are there other things we can do? Tell us about that. Of course you want more money. I understand that. We all know that. But tell us what else we can do. So it's just 4 questions to help us understand, any changes in your budget. What are the changes for? Give us the rationale.
Right.
Something
Kevin,
going on in
so
there.
correct
us.
me if I'm wrong. I mean, if there's nothing, they wouldn't need to fill it out.
Don't have to fill it out then. If there's nothing here, if you have no special articles, don't fill it out. If you
Right.
do
I just
anything
wanna clarify,
successful,
this isn't a
then say not
requirement.
applicable.
Nope.
No.
I mean, not everybody needs to put in anything, and if they
No.
don't, if it doesn't apply, they don't have to say anything.
If nothing changes in your budget, that's fine. If your fuel costs go up 50%, this is the place to tell us why. Or if your fuel costs go down 50%, this is the time to say why. Hey, we changed out for a super efficient furnace and here's, it's dropped our fuel costs by 50%. This is the time to brag. Tell us about it.
Sounds good.
So that's what that's about. That's all.
Sounds good.
So trying to make things a little easier and also give you a chance to brag and tell us about, in advance what your needs are, things we should know about. So. Okay, Mr. Chairman. So that's what I wanted to tell you about tonight. The next time we get together, I will, maybe not the next meeting, but perhaps I'm trying to gauge when the next meeting is in my head. It might be the next one. It might be the one after that where by that time, there will be enough budgets being submitted and I will have a sense of where things are going. I've already got some ideas in my head of where we will be going. I do plan to, I will give you this much. I have some thoughts in my head about what things I will be recommending. I will be recommending probably a 3.5% or more increase in wages for the coming year. Our employees did not get a raise this past year. They went without anything, and I think they deserve at least 3.5%. I'm looking at that to 3 3/4. I think that they deserve a substantial increase, and I think we can afford it. So I'm looking in that range right now. I think that they that's a good increase for them. So I think that there will be some other things I'll probably bring up at a future meeting about some other proposed uses of funds coming up. But I think that's one to keep in the back of your mind at this point.
Sure. So once you've collected this stuff, you'll forward it on to the finance committee, and then
Yes.
they can have meetings with the different departments and go on from there,
Yes.
like we did in the old days.
Yes.
Sounds good.
So I know you asked me to keep the meeting brief tonight because, you met last week and we're meeting this week. We'll have another meeting next week, and we're starting to meet pretty frequently. And I know we've all got a lot of things to do. So I was trying to keep things limited tonight, what I was going to talk about. But there's some other things that I'm excited to talk to you about, but I will wait till a little further along on this. So.
All right.
Do you or Gerhard have any questions for me?
Is Gear still there?
Yeah, he's still here. He says nope. No questions tonight.
I don't either. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't expecting everybody to fill out that narrative. I mean, only if they had and wanted to say something, they could.
No, I'm just providing it for them as an opportunity to talk about, their successes in their department, and if there's some special needs, or if they had a special article and, how that went for them, if it's still underway, if they need to, if they need more time to complete the use of the funds. It's just a way of letting the board know a little bit in advance of the actual meeting of what's going on with things, so the board can be prepared in advance.
Sounds good.
That way, if you walk in the room and you're aware, hey, they didn't finish this article, you can already be thinking in your mind, well, we're going to need to give them more time on this. Or if they're coming in and saying, we're looking to change something in the way we do the operations, you're already prepared before you arrive in the meeting, as opposed to arriving and just only hearing it for the first time that night. That way, they've already thought about it, but for the board to come to the meeting and hear it cold, it doesn't give you a chance to come to, to give some thought to it before you arrive. That way it's more productive when you arrive and the finance committee arrives to the meeting. You've already read what they've had to say. Hey, we're having a problem with getting all this sort of work done or so on. So we'd like to change the way we handle these things. It gives you a chance to think about it in advance and prepare. So when you come to meet with them, you get the best use of your time. It's kind of the same way as for selectmen's meetings, I provide you with some paperwork and some guidance about, what we're going to be talking about. It's the same idea.
All right.
Okay.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Well,
You all done?
all done. That's it for this evening then.
All right. So we'll meet again next Wednesday. What was that other meeting?
Tuesday night at 6 o'clock.
All right, for interviews, right? Okay.
Right. And I will post that.
Yeah, I've already marked my calendar. So.
That's right.
All right.
Tuesday at 6. Interviews. I will get you copies of their resumes so you can see that. Get those out to you in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So we move to end the session?
Yes, sir. Move to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye. Jack, aye.
Right.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Good night. Keep safe. Thank you.